The mayor who hated us, brought free food, beat up our enemy, ran away scared. Xiaoning, my wildest sister, hopped onto the grain bags, slashed them open with her hatchet to check if they were real, announced Nest. Mom, it's real grain, not mixed with dirt or grass seeds. This is actually good stuff. Mom stared at the 2 carts of rice, then stared at the road where the mayor had vanished, then stared back at the rice. Has that old pig finally grown a human heart? No, Mom, he hasn't grown a heart. He's just met your son's new friends. And somewhere between here and the garrison, those friends are probably still sharing my Coca-Cola, wondering what magical potion their mysterious commander drinks. So I pull up to the house expecting a hero's welcome. Ox cart loaded with food, a horse tied to the back, the pockets full of cash, sisters about to get the meal of their lives. Instead I walk into a crime scene. My 2 youngest sisters, 3 and 4, are kneeling in the courtyard like prisoners of war, faces white, bodies trembling, not daring to breathe. What happened? Turns out the mayor's grain delivery arrived while I was gone. New carts of quality rice. My mother inspected it, and immediately knew this wasn't government relief grain. This was the mayor's personal stash. The good stuff. She counted it and said, "This is exactly the amount the government was supposed to give us, but never did." So they basically stole our relief grain, kept it for himself, then got so scared of me today that he replaced it with his own rice. Karma is delicious. But here's the problem. 3 and 4, starving, exhausted from weeding all day, saw all that beautiful rice, did what any hungry child would do. They grabbed handfuls and shoved it in their mouths. Mom went nuclear. She kicked for so hard the kid flew 3 mm. This tiny malnourished 10-year-old just launched across the courtyard like a human football. Refroze mid-chew, rice falling from her fingers, too terrified to swallow. Xiaoning jumped in front of them. Mom, please, they're starving. They didn't mean it. Mom was not having it. She pointed at them like a drill sergeant delivering a court-martial. What is the family rule? Starve to death before touching someone else's rice. This grain is relief supplies for the whole village. It's not yours. If outsiders see the village chief's sister stealing from the relief pile, where does that leave your brother's reputation? And furthermore, your brother and big sister have been working all day and haven't eaten. You want to eat first? Do you have a no conscience? Me and 4 screamed in unison, "We're sorry, Mom. Please don't throw us away, throw them away." That's not a figure of speech. In this era, when families can't afford to feed everyone, they literally sell their children or trade them to neighbors. These kids thought grabbing rice was a deportable offense. My mother, the woman who lied to the original Dew about crops being wonderful so he wouldn't worry. The woman who sold her silver hairpin to buy him food. The woman who would die for her son. That same woman will punt her daughters across a courtyard for eating unauthorized rice. Her parenting philosophy is simple. Sons get unlimited love. Daughters get unlimited discipline. Everyone gets unlimited fear. I mean, I disagree with like 90% of this, but I also just got here, and she could definitely still kick him wide. But so I'm picking my battles. Xiaoning, the tough middle sister who never backs down, dragged Mom to her resting chair and tried to smooth things over. Mom, relax. Big brother made the deliver rice voluntarily. Maybe we'll never be short on food again. Let the little ones eat. Mom wasn't buying any of it. In fact, she was more worried than before. You don't understand, she said, staring at the grain piles with zero happiness. Your brother did something today that forced the mayor to bring us his own food. That's not good, that's dangerous. She laid it out cold. Before today we were poor but safe. Nobody important cared about us. But now your brother kicked a hornet's nest. The mayor is smiling today. But what's he planning tomorrow? That man sends people to forced labor with a wave of his hand. They call him Mayor Yama, as in the king of hell. If your brother made an enemy of him. Nochning's excitement died instantly. She knew Mom was right. The mayor was famous for quietly destroying people, drafting their sons into the army, assigning them to slave labor, making them disappear. Man like that doesn't grovel forever, he plots. Mom and Xiaoning were sitting in terrified silence when I walked in. I saw 3 and 4 kneeling in the yard and immediately picked them both up. Big brother, are you selling us? 4 screamed, please don't throw us away. Now 3 wailed. The snot and tears everywhere. All over my clothes. All over my face. These kids were genuinely convinced that being picked up meant being carried to the market and traded for grain. Why would I sell you? I just got here. Mom glared at me and stormed inside, not even a welcome home. Just pure maternal fury radiating like a space heater. Xiaoning came sprinting out to inspect the ox cart and nearly lost her mind with excitement. New cart, a cow, a horse. She was bouncing around like it was Christmas morning. 3 and 4, between sobs, told me what happened. Between their garbled crying and Xiaoning's translations, I pieced it together. I pulled out a huge handful of dried fruit from my pocket. Here, split these among yourselves. Xiaowei, go borrow some grass and wheat bran from Auntie Lou's place and feed the animals. Xiao Ning stared at the fruit like I'd handed her diamonds. All of this for US? Eat. Mom came storming back out of the house, leg already cooked for another kick. 3 and 4 hit the ground like trained soldiers. Flat face down, zero movement. These kids have military-grade reflexes from years of dodging mom's feet. Who said you could eat? It's almost dark. No eating before bed, the fruit was confiscated. Xiao Ning watched her dried fruit disappear into mom's sleeve with the saddest puppy eyes I've ever seen. She looked at me and shrugged helplessly. I whispered, "Keep boiling that water, I'll go talk to mom." Xiao Ning whispered back in a voice so quiet bacteria couldn't hear it. "Be careful, mom's mood is awful today and if it goes wrong she'll take it out on US. What's the big deal? The mayor brought grain, that's good." "It's not just the grain," Xiao Ning continued. "While you and big sister were out, the marriage bureau came." "The what?" "The government matchmaking office. They said big sister is 17, and if she doesn't get married soon, they'll either force assign her a husband or charge us extra taxes." "Oh, great." On top of drought, bandits, corrupt officials, marketplace crime lords, neighboring villages trying to kidnap our women, now the government wants to drag my sister to the altar. Mom's stressed all day about it, Xiao Ning added. I straightened up. Whatever problems come, we solve them. Soldiers block water flows, go feed the animals. I walked toward mom's room, mentally preparing for the most dangerous encounter of the day. Not the 20 thugs at the market, not the crossbow on the roof, not the axe-wielding rascal my mother, who can kick a child 3M and confiscate candy faster than I can blink. God help me. I walked into mom's room and found her performing surgery on my bag of dried fruit. She'd wrapped it in oiled paper, tied it with rope and hung it from the ceiling beam like she was storing nuclear launch codes. She handed me exactly 2 pieces, Taos. "Girls don't eat. You eat these, save the rest. The grain runs out. This fruit is the difference between life and death. My mother runs this household like a wartime rationing bureau. Everything is allocated, everything is strategic. And the strategy is feed the sun. Everyone else can photosynthesize. Mom, they're your daughters too. They came out of your body. Why can I eat but they can't?" I reached up and untied the fruit from the beam. Her hand went up to slap me, hovered in the air for a moment, then came back down. "She can't hit me. I'm the golden boy, the one male heir." Her hand physically refuses to make contact, but she grabbed the fruit bag and held on like a tug-of-war champion. 1 or 2 pieces is enough. If they eat too much, it'll wake up their appetite and they'll be hungrier. This woman's logic. Don't feed hungry children, because feeding them will make them realize they're hungry. Credible reasoning, absolutely bulletproof if you ignore everything about how humans work. Then mom hit me with the speech. The speech, the one she'd been saving up. "You are the only man in this family, the only man in this village. Every storm, every threat, every problem, it's your shoulders. If we each skip 1 meal, that's 5 extra meals. You eat, you get strong. You earn money. Your sisters marry well. That's the system. That's how we survive." She wasn't done. "I know you were giving up before, I saw it. You got sicker every day because you lost the will to live. You are going to die and leave us here. But you're the eldest son. Your father's words, eldest brother is father. Those girls aren't married yet. You don't get to die." And then my mom, this iron woman who kicks children across courtyards and rations fruit like gold bars, started crying silently, facing the wall, shoulders shaking, trying not to let anyone hear. My insides twisted into a knot. She wasn't wrong. The original you had given up. The weight of supporting an entire village of women with 0 resources, getting humiliated by every official. He begged for help, watching his sister starve. Broke him. He didn't die of illness, he died of despair. And here was mom holding the family together with nothing but pure willpower and violence, starving herself so I could eat, beating her daughters, so they'd learn discipline, crying alone so nobody would see weakness. In my old life, my biggest problem was whether Xiaolan would make braised pork or steamed fish for dinner. I am not equipped for this level of emotional warfare. Mom, stop crying. She wouldn't turn around, just sat on the bed wiping tears. Then Xiao Ning told me about the marriage bureau. Apparently while I was out conquering the market, government matchmakers showed up at our house. Big sister Xiaoyi is 17, the Qian that's practically expired. If she doesn't get married soon, either the government assigns her a random husband or we pay penalty taxes. Great, another mountain. This family collects problems like other families collect furniture. To change the subject, I reached into my sleeve and pulled out an egg. Mom's eyes locked onto it like a heat-seeking missile. Then I pulled out another and another and another 8 big, beautiful, perfectly round boiled eggs. System-bought supermarket quality. Each one bigger and shinier than anything this world had ever produced. Mom's first instinct was to grab a basket from the ceiling and store them. "Mom, they're boiled. They'll RW if you save them, then sell them, buy cheap grain, feed the whole family for days." I peeled 2 eggs and literally shoved them into her mouth. She tried to resist. I pushed harder. She chewed reluctantly, looking at me like I'd committed a war crime against fiscal responsibility. Good, right? Behind the door, 3 little heads were stacked vertically like a totem pole. Xiao Ning on top, 3 in the middle, 4 at the bottom. All watching mommy eat eggs. All drooling so hard they could have filled a bucket. Is that an egg? 3 whispered. I want one too. 4 whimpered, licking her own fingers for comfort. Now Ning hissed, shut up. Big brother is negotiating on our behalf. Don't blow it. Second sister, talk slower, your spit is hitting my face. You dare sass me? Want a beating? While they bickered, they missed the entire conversation. All they saw was mom and me walking out together. Miracle of miracles, mom was almost smiling. I handed each sister 1 egg. Eat, they froze. The original Yidu never gave them food directly. Everything went through mom first. Mom ate. Then they fought over crumbs. The idea of receiving their own egg from their brother's hand was so alien they couldn't process it. They didn't even peel them. Just crammed whole eggs, shell and all, into their mouths like chipmunks storing acorns. I slapped each one on the butt. Peel it first, you animals. Xiao Ning dodged. 3 and 4 took the hits. Didn't even flinch, kept chewing shell. Mom shook her head. Part exasperation, part guilt for kicking 4 earlier, she waved it off. Then I said the words that changed the universe inside this household. Xiao Ning, make dinner. 2 bowls of rice bridge per person. And throw half a pound of meat in the pot. Nuclear, silence. This family ate 1 meal a day. 1 bowl of wheat and husk paste. And now I was ordering meat porridge at night with white rice. Xiao Ning's brain needed a full reboot. Big brother, we're eating dinner like a second meal today. Yes, move it. She grabbed the meat and sprinted to the kitchens before I could change my mind. 15 pounds of pork. 1 hand, full speed, this girl has priority. Big sister Xiao came back from feeding the animals and nearly had a stroke. We can't be this extravagant. It's not even a holiday. Xiao Ning was already chopping meat with a hatchet at supernatural speed. Chop, 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 big brother said it. I'm doing it. You want to argue? Argue with him. 3 and 4 were at the stove stoking the fire with a passion they'd never shown for anything. 4, blow harder, 3 more wood. These kids who were kneeling in punishment 20 minutes ago were now operating that kitchen like a Formula 1 pit crew. Nos tried to stop them, couldn't catch Xiao Ning. Turned to bully 3 and 4 instead. They looked at me with desperate puppy eyes. Meat, half a foul answer. We're eating tonight. Xiao's heart was breaking from the waist, but she couldn't override my authority. She rolled up her sleeves and took over cooking, because if her family was going to commit this sin, at least the food would be made properly. Then Xiao Ning opened the rice bag to scoop out some grains as her face went completely white. My system rice. Round, glistening, pearly white grains that looked like they'd been polished by angels. She'd never seen rice this perfect in her life. Nobody in this village had, nobody in this province had. She looked at me with an expression that said, Big brother, did you ROBB the Dragon's Palace? No, little sister. I just have Amazon Prime from the future, but you don't need to know that. You just need to eat. Mom stood in front of the ox cart, staring at the mountain of supplies like I just backed up a getaway vehicle. Old son, did you rob the government treasury? Big sister Xiaowei jumped to my defense from the kitchen. No, Mom. People on the road were talking about it. Big brother was doing business at the temple market, making real money. Everyone stared at me like I'd grown a second head. The original Yidu wouldn't even make eye contact with strangers. Now I'm apparently a merchant prince. It's true. I sold seafood to rich people, crabs, river stuff. That city nobles pay insane money for fresh catch during a drought. Mom considered this, then noticed the spices, the fine salt, the seasonings. Her finger went straight into my forehead, like a woodpecker drilling for answers. Wasteful boy. What are these luxury items? Save your money. Time for tactical maneuvering. Put on my most innocent face and said, Mom, you know me. I squeeze every coin, but Xiao Ning begged me before I left. Big brother, if you make money, buy this, buy that. She took such good care of me when I was sick, how could I refuse? From the kitchen, Xiao Ning's head popped up like a startled prairie dog. Her mouth formed a perfect O of betrayal. Mom's hand went to my sword hilt. She yanked it off my belt and charged towards Xiao Ning like a samurai housewife. Mom, wait, she's still young, just use a stick. I yelled, desperately holding her back while winking furiously at Xiao Ning. Xiao Ning had already launched herself onto the roof, in approximately 0.3 seconds. Then she paused, thought about it, remembered the white rice, the eggs, the fruit, the fact that Big Brother chose her first for everything today. She jumped back down. Mother, it was all my fault. I corrupted Big Brother, punish me. This girl, volunteering for a beating to protect my cover story. Loyalty. Once things settled down, I brought out the big guns. I carried an entire bucket of copper coins into the bedroom and set it on the table in front of Mom and Xiaowei. I plunged my hand in. Clink. The most beautiful sound in any century. Both women stopped breathing. Old army brothers owed me favors. I lied smoothly, they sent money as thanks. Mom's hand went into the bucket. Then Xiaowei asked. Both of them standing there, running coins through their fingers over and over. Faces frozen in shock. Big brother, Xiaowei whispered, your army friends are this generous? This is landlord money. Landlord money? This is pocket change. There's more where this came from. Then I laid out my business plan. No more free handouts to villagers. From now on, anyone who needs money comes to work for us. 50 coins a day, real work, real pay. It teaches them independence. As the saying goes, give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man a donkey and he rides forever. Close enough. Mom's response to my employment reform initiative. She took off her show and beat me across the head with it. Whack, 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 whack. You want to pay them? You're the village chief. You could sleep with every woman in the village, and they'd thank you for the honor. And you want to give them wages? 15 shoe strikes to the skull before she ran out of steam. Didn't dodge a single one. Dodging makes mothers angrier. This is universal across all timelines. Once she calmed down, I explained the logic properly. She eventually agreed. Paying people to work beats giving handouts. Even her wolfpack survival philosophy could accept that. Meanwhile, outside, the three little sisters were having the time of their lives. They huddled together by the fire, giggling uncontrollably, high on eggs and the promise of meat porridge. For as Shioi Ne, second sister, didn't you always say you'd flip Big Brother over your shoulder when you got strong enough? How come now you're his biggest fan? Xiaoning kicked her. I'm not Sen fan. I'm studying him, learning from him, aspiring to be like him. 3 and 4 rolled their eyes so hard they nearly went blind. Xiaoning kicked them both again. Then Xiaoning hatched a scheme. 3. You've been wanting new pants forever, right? Big Brother has money now. Ask him. 3 nearly wet her current pants in terror. Asks, Big Brother for money? Even if he says yes, Mom would murder me. 4 chimed in, yeah. If Mom sees new pants, that's an automatic beating. Xiaoning, so you want new pants and no beating? Or nodded solemnly. Second sister speaks wisdom. 3 added more wood to the fire with philosophical calm. New pants aren't important. Mainly just want Mom to loosen up the skin on my behind. It's getting tight from all the kicking. These children have developed comedy as a survival mechanism. Then 4 came sprinting over to me, literally running past 3 who tripped and ate dirt. 0 sisterly concern. 4 climbed into my arms and said, Big Brother, please buy 3 a new outfit. Her clothes have too many holes to patch. Why didn't 3 come tell me herself? 4 blinked her enormous innocent eyes. If I ask for her, then when Mom finds out, I take the beating instead. 3 stays safe. You're not afraid of getting hit? Nope. Plus 3's old clothes can be made smaller and given to me. Gets us both new clothes. Very efficient. My throat tightened, my eyes stunk. This tiny girl, 10 years old, looks fine, malnourished, wearing rags. Just calculated the optimal beating to clothing ratio like a tiny, adorable economist. 3 limped over nervously. I asked how much kids' clothes cost. She counted on her fingers for way too long. 500 coins to normal kids. But I'm smaller than normal kids, so maybe 400. 400 coins for a child's outfit? My system, vintage school uniforms cost 20 coins. I just discovered a new business opportunity, but selling modern clothes in ancient China requires explanation. Instead, I opened my system. Found a Hanfu shop. Bought 2 kid-sized outfits in the Chin style. Close your eyes. They squeezed their eyes shut. Open. 2 brand new beautiful little outfits materialized in my hands. Their faces. Like Christmas and birthdays, and every good thing compressed into one moment. Xiao Ning came charging over. Where's go back to work? I didn't buy her, she stopped dead. I braced for tantrum. Instead, she turned around and started teaching 3 and 4 how to put on their new clothes, casually adding instructions like, if you get into a fight, come home and change into old clothes first. Don't waste good fabric on combat. Always practical. I turned away. Can't watch little sisters change, and saw Mom and Shoei whispering to each other by the ox cart. For the first time today, Mom was actually smiling. Not a full smile, just the ghost of one, but it was there. Money really is something. You don't have to love it, but without it, you can't even buy your family a reason to smile. That's the cruelest truth in any world. Finally, night fell and we sat down to eat. Nothing fancy. A big pot of rice porridge with pork shreds, leftover eggs, and a plate of pickled vegetables. Back in my old life, I would have sent this back at a restaurant. I barely had any appetite. My modern brain kept thinking, this needs red dates, rock sugar, maybe some dried goji berries. This is basically hospital food. But my family, they ate like they'd been invited to heaven's banquet. 3 and 4, who hadn't eaten dinner in weeks, blew gently on their spoons, waited for the porridge to cool just enough, took one tiny sip, then closed their eyes. Not gulping, not wolfing it down, savoring. Each spoonful, held in the mouth like it might be the last good thing they ever taste. Eyes closed, floating. Gone to some happy place where sisters have pants and brothers buy eggs and mothers don't kick you across the yard. I watched them eat and thought, in my old life I was happy with no money. Delivery guy, security guard didn't care, always smiling. But here, without money, I can't even give my little sister a pair of pants without someone getting beaten for it. The world is different when you're responsible for people who love you this much. This was the best meal this family had eaten since, possibly ever. Not because the food was amazing. It was literally just rice porridge with pork shreds. But for the first time there was enough. Nobody had to count their spoonfuls. Nobody had to watch someone else eat and calculate if there'd be any left. When Mom put down her chopsticks, every sister stopped eating simultaneously, like trained soldiers, this daughters. But each face told a different story. Nate's calm, dignified. I'm full and that's that. Xiao pouting. Clearly not full, but obedient. The second mom looked away. Those sneaky little rascals picked their bowls back up and got in 2 more licks before anyone noticed. Why did you stop? There's porridge left. It'll go bad by tomorrow. I pointed at the pot. Mom, go bad? We'll reheat it tomorrow. That's tomorrow's meal sorted. We have rice. We have pork. I have 20,000 coins and a magic shopping system. We are not rationing leftover porridge across 2 days. I grabbed every sister's bowl, filled them to the brim, and slammed them back down. Eat until you're full, that's an order. They all looked at Mom like hostages, checking with their kidnapper. Mom's side stood up, fine, eat, but if any of you slack off tomorrow, I'll skin you alive. Long live Mother, long live Big Brother. 4 screamed and face planted into her bowl. Then I noticed Xiaowei wasn't eating, face pale, sitting stiffly watching others eat with zero appetite. Years of living with a girlfriend taught me to recognize exactly what was happening. I went outside, bought brown sugar for my system, boiled it into her porridge, and set it in front of her. You're on your period, right? Drink this. The sugar helps with cramps. Her face went crimson. Ancient China, a brother casually diagnosing menstrual cycles is apparently nuclear level embarrassing. She pushed the bowl away. I'm the big sister. I can't have special treatment. You do the most work. You get special food, drink it. Xiao Ning saw the brown sugar porridge and immediately grabbed her own stomach, performing the most dramatic death scene since Shakespeare. Big Brother, oh no, I'm having my period too. The blood, it won't stop, I'm dying. Only brown sugar porridge can save me now. You're basically a dude. Since when do you get periods? Big Brother, you're becoming really annoying as village chief of Widow Village. She grumpily poured some of her own porridge into 3 and 4's bowls, then glared at them. Eat up. When you're big enough, we overthrow Big Brother's tyrannical regime together. Yes, ma'am. They agreed enthusiastically, mouths never stopping. They looked like happy little piglets, round cheeks puffing, eyes half closed. Zero worries. Just pure, concentrated joy in rice form. I leaned back in my chair feeling pretty good about myself, reached for a cigarette. Empty, no phone either. Man, the entertainment options in ancient China are rough. Then Xiaowei started crying into her porridge. Just tears raining down into the bowl. 3 and 4 saw big sister crying, and immediately started crying too. Chain reaction. Emotional dominoes. Xiao Ning and I exchanged a look of complete bewilderment. Big sis. Big Brother is crying again. Xiaowei sobbed. I haven't felt stomach this full in so long. I'm just so happy she's crying because she ate enough food. That's what this world has come to. A full belly is so rare it makes people weep. Stick with me, kid. Your stomach will be full every day. Then 3 sniffled. 4th just told me, before Dad died, his last wish was to eat a bowl of porridge with meat in. He never got it. The room went silent. Their father, the previous head of this family, died with one final dream, a bowl of meat porridge, and he never tasted it. And here we were eating exactly that. My eyes burned. I rubbed their heads. Dad's watching from up there. Be happy so he can be happy too. They nodded through their tears. Then started crying harder. Because of course they did. I had to evacuate before this turned into a 5-person sob festival. Grabbed my dishes, checked on Mom. She was sewing quietly in her room, content, and slipped outside. Immediately something felt wrong. Movement in the bushes near the door. My hand shot into the woodpile and grabbed something incredibly soft. The smooth yielding. My thumb instinctively rolled across it and Village chief, please, a girl burst out of the woodpile. One of the Wang twins. Couldn't tell which one in the dark. Hair full of burr, face redder than a sun's, but still trembling from what my hand just did. She stood there, clutching her collar, breathing hard, eyes wide. In her mind, she was probably calculating whether what just happened meant she was married now. I wanted to dig a hole with my toes and bury myself in it. Then rustling from another bush, a swarm of exploded out like a clown car. Wang's sister is a bad guy. She's trying to steal the village chief, the ringleader. A 4-year-old boy built like a tiny dictator, pointed at her accusingly. Kid, shut your mouth, I'm telling my mom. Needs to hurry up and marry you. Otherwise I'll need a new mom. Why would your mom need to marry me? The boy looked at me like I was stupid. Because you're Ningran's daddy. If she's not your wife, how can she be Ningran's mommy? Then he turned to the Wang twin with devastating 4-year-old savagery. And, don't think just because your chest looks like your butt that you're special. My mom's chest looks like her back, so there. He sprinted away into the darkness before I could catch him. I stood there. The Wang twin stood there, both of us processing what a preschooler just said about comparative breast anatomy. It's late. Go home, come get grain tomorrow. She kissed me on the cheek fast like a hummingbird stealing nectar, and bolted. I touched my face still warm. On the wall above me, Xiao Ning was crouching like a gargoyle, looking down at her own flat chest with deep philosophical concern. Is that woman going to be my sister-in-law? She muttered. I ignored her and sat down to work. Using system materials, I started building a homemade shotgun. Steel pipe basic mechanics, thanks to a certain Japanese craftsman whose legendary work I'd studied recreationally. The village needed weapons for defense, and I was going to provide. Throughout the evening, various village women kept dropping by. Some to flirt, not some to ask about grain distribution, not some for reasons they clearly hadn't thought through yet. Eventually Xiao Ning physically dragged me inside bed. Now my bed was already made by Xiao Wei. Perfect hospital corners, smooth straw mattress. Blankets folded with the precision of someone who'd make an excellent wife for someone very lucky someday. Then 3 and 4 appeared carrying a basin of hot water and a tiny stool. Big brother, we're here to wash your feet. Before I could protest, each sister grabbed one foot and plunged them into the water. I'm not the emperor, you don't need to. Xiao Ning materialized behind me with scissors, pinned my shoulders down and started trimming my hair. Big brother, you're better than the emperor. He has paperwork. You have 600 women. Xiao Ning, if you don't know how to talk, you can be quiet. Say one more word and these scissors go up your nose. Fine, I surrendered to the pampering. 3 washing my left foot, 4 washing my right, Xiao Ning giving me a haircut that might leave me looking like a hedge. After they finished with me, they grabbed fresh water and ran to serve Mom. Then finally, the 4 sisters each got their own basin and sat there soaking their feet. Eyes closed. Pure bliss. 4 started humming a little tune. Just happy. Full belly. Clean feet. New clothes. A brother who gives eggs. Old happiness, the kind money can't buy. Except it literally can because I bought the rice, the pork, the eggs, the clothes, the hot water fuel with money. So actually money bought all of this happiness, and I should never forget that. I lay down, started thinking about plants, the village, the business, the crabs, the irrigation canal proposal, the military alliance. Then my thoughts drifted. 36 wives, 72 concubines. That's technically allowed in this dynasty. The math is interesting. I was out dead asleep gone. In my dream I was back in Japan with an AK-47 doing things to a public restroom that I cannot legally describe. Then I flew back to China, bought a mansion, brought all the village women home, movie studio, had 300 children, couldn't remember any of their names. An explosion outside. My hand found the knife under my pillow before my eyes even opened. Day 2 in ancient China is starting with a bang literally. Woke up to an explosion. Hand went straight under the pillow. Grabbed my knife. Battle stance. Heart pounding. Ready to kill. I peeked through the door crack and it was Mom beating Xiao Ning with a burning stick at 6:0 in the morning on a Tuesday. Xiao Ning was clutching a white cat like it was the Holy Grail, doing parkour around the kitchen ground to countertop to ceiling beam in about 2 seconds flat. Mom was jabbing a smoldering fireplace poker at her but from below. Xiao Ning's clothes were literally smoking but she would not let go of that cat. You stole family grain to feed an animal, I'll kill you. Mom was whispering her death threats, which was somehow more terrifying than yelling. Xiao Wei was trying to hold her back and failing. 3 and 4 had come in from the fields soaking wet with baskets of wild vegetables, saw the chaos and immediately backed out the door. Not today. Nope, we'll be outside. Then Xiao Ning spotted my door crack. Big brother, save me. I seriously considered going back to bed. Mom hissed, quiet. Your brother was up half the night working. You want to kill him with exhaustion. Xiao Ning's eyes narrowed. I could see the calculation happening in real time. She had leverage now. Mom, if you hit me one more time, I'm waking him up and you'll be the one who stressed out your precious baby boy. Checkmate. Mom froze. Hostage negotiation, ancient Chinese style. Then Xiao Wei, being the most caring sister alive, ruined everything. Big brother hasn't woken up from all this noise. What if something's wrong? Stampede. Every female in the house charged my bedroom door. I dove under the blankets. Because here's the thing, I'd slept naked last night, and certain parts of my body were doing their enthusiastic morning routine. Mom burst, checked my breathing, saw my face was healthy, relaxed. She blocked the sisters at the door with one arm and tucked my blankets tighter around me like I was 5 years old. Xiao Ning, banned from the door, ran outside to the window and pressed her face against it like a kid at a pet store, just staring at me sleep. Big brother got more handsome, she muttered to herself. Then Mom appeared silently behind her, slammed the window down on Xiao Ning's neck, pinning her like a medieval stock, then shoved something into her open mouth. Xiong gagged, looked black fuzzy, stinking my sock. Mom had weaponized my dirty sock as a... She twisted Xiao Ning's shoulder with one hand while whispering, feed that cat one more time and I'll end you. Then she shoved Xiao Ning out the window like taking out trash. Xiao Ning landed butt first on the ground, looked at the ungrateful white cat sitting on the wall, muttered, you don't understand. You're my lucky cat. Cat looked at her and, I swear this happened, rolled its eyes. I fell back. Decision of day 2. When I finally woke up properly, Mom had already distributed the relief grain to every family in the village. Efficient woman. Terrifying but efficient, I stumbled around looking for my socks. Mom, where are my foot wraps? Xiao Yi pointed at the wall where 2 crusty sock wraps were flapping in the breeze. They were basically fossilized. Big brother, I washed them. 3 and 4 appeared with a wash basin and towel. Big brother, wash time. While they held the basin, I slipped 2 chocolate bars from my system into their tiny hands. Their eyes went huge. I glared at them, they could scream. Breakfast was beautiful. Xiaoyi had turned wild vegetables into 2 plates of cold dishes with nothing but skill and determination. Rice porridge, eggs, simple but perfect. We were halfway through eating when a girl appeared at the gate. Patched clothes but really pretty face. My eyeballs may have malfunctioned briefly. Is this village chief yes home? Xiao Ning launched across the yard, grabbed the girl, dragged her inside, and started inspecting her like a horse at auction. It's too skinny. Not qualified for Big Brother. Mom was already in matchmaker mode, beaming. Emidu's mother. Which village are you from, dear? I was mentally screaming. Does the original Yudu have secret girlfriends I don't know about? Wang Laowu's wife. Every woman's enthusiasm deflated like a punctured balloon. Xu Ning dropped her arm. Mom's smile vanished. 3 and 4 whispered from the corner. She's not here to marry Big Brother. Then why is she here so early? 4 added. I want 10 sisters-in-law to take care of. The more the better. These children have priorities. Wife. Lin Shimei, daughter of a former imperial censor, nests to marry a poor farmer, had come to help with housework as thanks for what I did yesterday. Mom dragged her into the bedroom for interrogation. Not about me, about the money. Mom still didn't fully trust my old army buddy Senate story. She needed independent verification from a stranger's wife. My own mother trusts random visitors more than her son. Great, very affirming. While Mom conducted her intelligence operation, I disappeared into the side room and got to work on my real project. See, last night while everyone slept, I'd been building something special. Using system material, steel pipe, the lighter's electric arc igniter, and cheap steel pellets. I was constructing humanity's first ancient Chinese shotgun. It took me half the day to get it right. Testing in the backyard, I loaded up the steel balls, aimed at a bucket of sand, pressed the trigger. Boom, the bucket exploded into Swiss cheese. Dozens of tiny holes, sand pouring out like an hourglass. The sisters came running out of the house in panic. Power range needs work. I kept testing, adjusting. By noon I had a functional weapon that could turn any bandit into a very surprised colander from a respectable distance. Time to cause some problems. When I finally emerged from my workshop, Lao Wu's wife had left, but the yard was full of crabs. What happened? 3 explain. Wang Lao Wu came, picked up his wife, and dropped off all these crabs. He said too many people are catching crabs now and he can't handle the volume alone. Mom didn't let them bother you since you were busy. Xiaoning added. He only charged 8 coins per pound instead of 10. Said he's just working for you. Doesn't need profit, this man. This beautiful, loyal, terrified marshmallow of a man. I buy him pork one time and he's ready to work for free. Nishui chimed in. His wife was incredible, by the way. The moment she walked in, she started cleaning, cooking, organizing. I couldn't even keep up. She won. I looked at Mom. Because hiring outside help costs money, and Mom has strong feelings about spending. Mom read my mind. Don't look at me like that. You want to build something big, you need helpers. The village is all women, useless for heavy work. You need men from outside, I understand. Besides, she added, that girl's a hard worker. She can come whenever she wants. Shoei filled in the backstory. Lin Shimei was a former official's daughter, forced to Lao Wu from a widow village. Father-in-law bedridden, mother-in-law blind, kids sick and starving. The whole family survived on Lao Wu's meager earnings, and Lao Wu was too gentle to fight for better pay. Mom and Xiao Wei had extracted this woman's entire family history. 3 generations deep in one morning. You two are terrifying, I said. The Imperial Secret Police could learn from you. Mom didn't even blink, just went back to mending clothes. Day 2 status report. 1 shotgun built. 1 lucky cat saved from execution. 1 sock weaponized. 2 chocolates smuggled. 1 interrogation conducted. Approximately 50 crabs acquired. Tiger is locked and loaded, literally. Mom snorted at me when I said she and Xiao Wei were good interrogators. If I hadn't been blind enough to marry your father, I'd still be a government official's wife. Noted. Mom has a backstory, filing that for later. She saw me gearing up to leave and immediately went into military mom mode. Started making guokui, these enormous rock-hard flatbread discs that soldiers carry on campaign. Think of a frisbee made of bread that could stop a bullet, literally. You string 2 together, hang them front and back on your chest, and they work better than actual armor. Regular crossbow bolts can't even penetrate them. Back in the army, we used to pluck enemy arrows out of our chest bread and shoot them back. I'm half convinced Zhuge Liang got his borrowing arrows with straw boats idea from watching soldiers do this with pancakes. Mom watched me strap on the bread armor and started crying. Minded her of sending 13-year-old me off to war. Was sick to serve, so the army took his kid instead. 5 years, not a single letter home. Then she noticed me stuffing handfuls of black steel balls into my pouches, and her mother's sense tingled. Son, what are those for? You don't need those for selling crabs. I told her the truth. Crabs are temporary, rivers are drying up. The supply won't last. I needed a new income stream. Month's thing that explained having money without people asking where it came from. I was going bounting. Mom's face went white. See, the region was crawling with wanted criminals. Bandits, thieves, enemy spies. The government had dozens of bounty posters plastered on every wall. Normal people, those posters were wallpaper. To me, they were a menu. In this life, the original Yasu was a military scout, intelligence operative, and eventually chief of security for an entire army. Finding hidden people was literally his job. In my previous life, I was a security guard who could spot a food delivery scammer, a pyramid scheme recruiter, or a wanted fugitive from across a parking lot. The 2 lifetimes of spotting sketchy people experience combined. Plus I had the shotgun. Speaking of which, Jiangning saw me carrying steel pipes and asked what they were. This is the Mountain Model 1, a firearm I invented. To demonstrate, I grabbed a rock, set it up in the backyard, aimed, and pulled the trigger. Boom, the rock exploded into gravel. Steel pellets shredded it like confetti. Jiangning's face went white for exactly 1 second, then lit up like fireworks. Big brother, can I have one? I'll destroy Zhao Village. Mom shut her down instantly. Absolutely not. If someone takes it from you and uses it against your brother, then what? I'll make you a small one later, I promised. For self-defense, I strapped on my bread armor, slung my Mountain Model 1 across my back, belted my 11 mystery sword to my waist, climbed onto my military horse, rode out of the village, looking like an ancient Chinese Terminator. The women barely caught a glimpse before I was gone. Awesome, ladies. The tiger has business. First stop, my childhood friend Sukhan's village. Sukhan was a certified genius, actual scholar, passed the imperial exam, had a bright future until he said something politically stupid, moted, and was dumped in the middle of nowhere to be village chief of a beggar village. Yeah, my village is all widows. His village is all beggars. We're like a buddy comedy nobody asked for. His village had a special history. It was the hometown of one of the rebel kings who fought against the current dynasty. After losing, the entire village was forcibly relocated here as punishment. Too many people, not enough land. Everyone became professional beggars. But Sukhan, this insane scholar, turned begging into a corporation. He divided the village into districts, assigned territories, gave the elderly and children the begging routes, better sympathy factor, put the adult men on territories expansion, and created a communist redistribution system for all collected alms. Nobody in his village had starved, and nobody from neighboring villages dared mess with them, because one whistle from Sukhan and 300 beggars with sticks would come pouring out like angry ants. Old Y, he ran up to my horse grinning. Heard that rat mare Neo sent your village grain. How do you manage that? I'm going bounty hunting. Got any intel? You, bounty hunting? He laughed. Those bandits are serious criminals. Ask me again at sunset. He whistled for his intelligence chief, an old man named Crippled Son, who limped over and bowed. Boss, chief finally in the game. We should have partnered ages ago. Sukhan kicked him. I'm your village chief, not your gang leader. Crippled Son took the kick without flinching. A village chief who doesn't want to be a gang leader isn't a good scholar. This man has achieved enlightenment through begging. I respect it. Sukhan handed me a sheet of intelligence. His beggar network, spread across the entire region, visible to everyone, present everywhere. It located a wanted bandit who'd robbed a government treasury. General area, movement patterns, possible hideout. Beggars make the best spies. Nobody notices them. Nobody watches what they see. They're everywhere and nowhere. If it goes sideways, run. Sukhan, as I rode off, I need you alive. Your village has women and my village has single men. We have a deal to make. Behind him, every beggar sunbathing by the road suddenly perked up at the mention of women. Lord Yi, eternal glory, 10,000 years. They were ready to crown me emperor if it meant getting wives. I followed the intel into the mountains using skills from both lifetimes. Military tracking from this life, security surveillance instincts from the last one. I found the bandits' trail within hours. Broken twigs, displaced rocks, the faintest footprints in dried mud. Smart guy slept during the day, moved at night. Urinated into a gourd so there'd be no puddles to give away his position. Kept his eyes scanning constantly but not constantly enough. I found him standing on a tree branch, peeing into his gourd, eyes darting around nervously. I crept into position using battlefield concealment techniques, completely invisible, watching him. I glanced at his situation and couldn't help muttering, "That's really small." He finished, climbed back into the tree and went to sleep. Moved into range. Raised the Mountain Model 1, aimed, boom. He fell out of the tree like a rotten fruit. Body twitching on the ground, still alive, but not for long and suffering badly. I walked over and gave him the second barrel. First shot was for the money. Second shot was mercy. Travel well, brother. You made bad choices, but nobody deserves to die slowly in a forest. I cut off his head. Grim work. But that's how bounties work in ancient China. Proof of kill. tied it to my horse and pulled out the intelligence sheet to find my next target. Day 2 morning. Got woken up by domestic violence afternoon. Vented firearms and became a bounty hunter. TBD. But probably involves more explosions. This village chief gig is really not what the job description said. The sun was going down and everyone was getting worried about me. Everyone. Back at Sukan's beggar village, my buddy was sitting on his village chief throne getting shoulder massages from his cleanest beggars trying to look calm. Crippled Sun was reporting the day's begging results. Not bad, Suk said. The quantity held up. Extra rations tonight. Yeah, but quality is down. All rough grain, no white bread. The old folks can't chew this stuff. Sukan waved his hand like a king dismissing peasant concerns. My boy Yidu's got that covered. He'll bring the good stuff. It's sunset and he's not back yet. The beggars started panicking. Not about my safety, about their futures. What if he died in the mountains? Don't say that. I'm counting on him to find me a wife. Those bandits are serious criminals. The government sent people and they got killed. Crippled Sun scratched his crotch thoughtfully. Am I really going to be single forever? Then he tried to give Sukan a shoulder rub with the same hand. Sukan kicked him across the yard. Sukan was genuinely worried though. He stood up from his throne and called for volunteers. Get some young guys. We're going into the mountains to find him. I bet my whole future on this idiot. I can't have him die on day 1. Then dust cloud on the horizon. A horse at full gallop. Tall figure wearing a straw hat with a flatbread strapped to his chest like body armor. That's a Crippled Sun screamed. Sukan's whole body relaxed. This son of a had his grandpa worried sick. Now, the beggars were debating whether I'd actually caught anyone. The consensus was absolutely not. No way he got one on first. He probably just scouted the area. Those bandits are crafty and vicious. The government lost several officers trying to catch this guy. If bounty hunting were easy, every village around here would be doing it already. Sukin just smirked. He wasn't worried. He knew me, as he later told them. My boy Yadu was peeping at bathing women at age 3, pantsing the mayor's son at 6, undefeated fighter by 10, stabbing people with a spear by 13. One bandit is a snack. I mean, those are the original Yedu's accomplishments. But I'll take the credit. I rode up and swung off my horse. Sukan walked over and we did our signature greeting, shoulder bumping. I sent him flying back 3. Oops, forgot about the internal energy. The beggars swarmed, front row gawking, back row on tiptoes trying to see over heads. I tossed a huge sack of flour onto the ground, nearly 100 pounds of white flour, then handed Crippled Sun half a pig carcass. I asked that half a pig in white flour if he gave us this much, how much did he keep for himself? Their eyes were bulging. These were people who, bounty hunting themselves, tried. Most of them ran away the second they heard a twig snap. The few brave enough to actually fight criminal came back injured or didn't come back at all. Now here's the beauty of my plan. Sukhan pulled me aside. The government doesn't pay this well. You've got a special channel, don't you? Yep, no point hiding it. The whole purpose of bounty hunting was to create a cover story for my system income. Oh, where'd I get all this money? Bounty hunting. Very dangerous, very lucrative. Don't ask questions. Skefnance glanced at my military horse and figured it out, or thought he did. He assumed I was giving the heads to the garrison soldiers. They'd claim the military credit, and I'd get the cash reward. Soldiers deal directly with the treasury. No bureaucratic middlemen skimming 70% off the top. Not exactly what was happening, but close enough. Let him believe it. The beggars started getting ideas. Can we do this? Can you share your connections? You want my face? My face is limited edition. Use it too much and it's gone. Sukan shut them down. Everyone shut up. Face is a non-renewable resource, but I didn't want to alienate my intelligence network. These beggars were everywhere. Every row, every village, every corner. They saw everything, heard everything. Best spy network in the province, and they didn't even know it. Here's the deal, I said. You keep finding targets. Other bounty hunters want to use your intel, let them. When they bring the heads to me, I'll cash them in through my channel. Normal government payout is 30% to the hunter, through me 50%. Eyes went wide. It grabbed my sleeve. Stay for dinner. We're cooking your flour and your pork. Can't families waiting. I mounted up and rode off into the darkness. Behind me I could hear 300 beggars chanting my name like I was their messiah. All because I gave them half a pig and some flour. Loyalty is cheap when people are starving, remember that. The ride home was dark and quiet, stars coming out, wind in my face, the weight of silver in my saddlebags and meat on my horse's back. Not a bad day's work. When I finally got close to the village, I could see a small figure perched on the wall like a gargoyle. Xiao Ning, she'd been up there waiting God knows how long. The second she confirmed it was me, she launched off the wall and sprinted toward me at full speed. Her long legs ate up the distance, 300 m in seconds. Big brother, you're back. I reached down and swung her up onto the horse behind me. She grabbed my waist and squealed. Big brother, this is what riding a horse feels like. I want to ride. Want to. Mom materialized from nowhere, grabbed Xiao Ning's thigh and pinched so hard the girl nearly screamed. Get down, a proper girl climbing walls and riding horses. Have you no shame? You want to learn horse riding? Why don't you learn to eat farts? While mom educated Xiao Ning about gender norms via physical violence, Xiao Yi and the little sisters were already at the horse, eyes locked on the saddlebags. More rice, more flour, more meat, more oil. Big brother delivered. Again, they started unloading like a pit crew. Then Xiao Yi noticed Fork was missing. Where did that little rascal Fork came sprinting from the house carrying a bowl of water on her tiny legs. Big brother, water, drink this child. She saw me come home and her first thought was he must be thirsty. Not, what did he bring me? Not, is there food? Just water. My heart every single time 3-pounded jealously and went back to hauling grain bags. Mom, I might not make it home every day from now on. Don't wait up. And please don't starve Xiao Ning just because I'm late. Mom scoffed. That money-losing girl. She's lucky I don't sell her, let alone feed her. Any other teenage girl would have burst into tears. Xiao Ning put her hands on her hips and fired back. Money-losing girl, people say children are debts from past lives. You must have owed me big in your last life. That's why I'm here collecting. Mom looked at all 4 daughters, remembered she produced 0 sons besides me. All debts, all money losers. She reached for the nearest weapon to beat Xiao Ning again. End day 2. Total earnings, enough silver to make a beggar village worship me. Enough food to keep my family fed for weeks. One criminal's head that I'd rather not think about during dinner. I'm a village chief, a merchant, military consultant, a weapons manufacturer, and a bounty hunter. My resume is getting very hard to explain. Dinner was chaos, beautiful chaos. Was simultaneously dodging mom's fireplace poker, setting the table, shouting, "Big brother, sit down and rest," all at the same time. This girl could be an Olympic athlete if ancient China had Olympics. Categories. Table setting while evading parental violence. Mom was in full pursuit mode. Xiao Ning was winning for a while, ducking, weaving, placing bowls with surgical precision, until she slipped on the floor. A bowl of precious rice porridge nearly went flying. Xiao Ning had a choice: save herself or save the porridge. She saved the porridge. Took a direct hit from the poker right across the butt, checked the bowl first. Not a single drop spilled. Then she started screaming, "Mom, eat first then beat me. You'll have more energy," I said, dragging mom to the table. Xiao Ning rubbed her butt and nodded enthusiastically. "The eat first, beat on a full stomach, better cardio." Mom stared at this shameless child, tried to stay angry and just laughed. "You little demon. I probably did owe you money in a past life." Then mom got emotional. She leaned against me, looked me up and down with satisfaction, then glanced at Xiao Ning, and her mood soured again. Xiao Yi kicked my foot under the table. I didn't understand why, but I copied her and looked down. "You're not here to collect a debt from me." Mom sighed. "You're here for your brother. I won't be around much longer, I can feel it. My beatings don't hit as hard as they used to." Ning's face went white. Mom was talking about getting old, about dying, about leaving us. I'm not. It's not that you're weaker. I just got faster, I'm bigger now. If you don't believe me, after dinner I'll lie on the bed and let you hit me. Full power. You'll see you've still got it. Mom picked up her chopsticks with a mysterious smile. "All right, deal." Xiao Ning realized what she just volunteered for. "Mom, I was just talking. Why are you looking at me like that?" Everyone at the table was biting their lips, trying not to laugh. This girl just negotiated herself into a free beating. Tactical genius. Mom pushed a bowl of braised meat in front of me. "Eat first, son, then the girls can have what's left." "Mom, no more of that. From now on we all eat every meal together. We're going to get these girls fat." 3 and 4 couldn't believe their ears. They stared at the meat bowl, like it was the Ark of the Covenant. Mom grumbled, "Fatten them up just to send them to someone else's family. Don't come crying to me when you feel cheated." "I won't feel cheated, they're my sisters. I love fattening them." The girls didn't hear a word of my sentimental speech. The moment Mom stopped objecting, 4 pairs of chopsticks attacked that meat bowl like piranhas. Oil flying everywhere, cheeks bulging, eyes rolling back in ecstasy. 3 pressed her hand to her chest and whispered, "I think I'm finally alive." That hit different, because in this village a lot of little girls don't make it to 10. 3 genuinely believed she might die soon. This meal, this one bowl of fatty pork, was proof that maybe, just maybe, she'd get to keep living. After dinner, I gave Mom all the day's earnings and went to the backyard to work on improving my shotgun. Today's field test revealed some issues. Range needed tweaking, reload time was too slow. But I'd barely started when I noticed a head peeking over my back wall. Just a forehead and 2 eyes peering through the bricks. One of the Wong twins, same girl from last night. She'd been watching me for an hour and a half, just staring through the wall like I was must-see television. I gave her families. I'm the only man in a village of hundreds of women. Beat up bad guys and ride horses. From her perspective, I'm basically a K-pop idol who also does grocery deliveries. I pretended to go inside for water, then snuck out around the side of the house. Found her standing on tiptoe, pressing her face against the bricks, peering through a crack with the intensity of someone watching the season finale of her favorite drama. I couldn't help myself. I reached out and touched her hand. She almost screamed. Then she saw it was me, clamped her mouth shut. kept staring through the crack like nothing was happening, but her body was trembling, and her finger gently scratched my palm. Oh, this is happening. This is actually, I was about to do something very irresponsible when I heard footsteps. I turned around, 15 widows standing in a semicircle. Furious. Is that Wang's older sister or younger sister? Have some shame, we all agreed. Village chief is recovering, nobody bothers him. You sneak over here alone. They'd made a pact. An actual organized agreement among the village women that nobody would make moves on me while I was sick. This girl broke the treaty, she gone rogue. The Wang girl ran away with her face on fire. I stood there with 15 angry widows glaring at me. Village chief, what are you doing with her? She's a child, what does she even know? Go back to bed, everyone go home, I snapped. Oh no, the chief is mad, thunder and lightning. Time to go home and spank the children. They scattered like startled birds, cackling and gossiping as they went. I slumped against the wall. This is my life. I have a surveillance team, an involuntary chastity enforcement squad, 200 widows monitoring my romantic activities like a neighborhood watch program for horniness. How am I supposed to do anything with a permanent audience? I was standing there, frustrated, irritated, full of unreleased energy, when a soft voice floated over. Village chief, were you waiting for me? I turned, there she was, another one. A different girl standing right there. Dewy eyes, delicate frame looking at me like I was the answer to a prayer. Every fire in my belly that I just managed to exploded back to life. This village is going to be the death of me. Not bandit, not corrupt officials, not famine women. 600 of them, all with terrible timing. Knew she was. Wang Jiayi, standing in the moonlight, looking at me with those big worried eyes. Village chief, you should rest. Everyone's future depends on you. Don't work so hard, my brain said. Be responsible, send her home, my body said. Absolutely not, I tried playing it cool. Yeah, go home. I'll finish up and sleep. She didn't move. Instead, her voice got smaller. Do you not like me? If you think I'm too forward, I'll stop coming. Listen, I'm a man who once ate soft rice for a living. I know when a woman is giving you the green light. But I also know that rushing into things with 600 other women watching your every move is a terrible strategic decision. My mouth tried to explain this. Something about feelings need time and mutual attraction. I may have butchered several idioms. I definitely said something that wasn't a real word. Embarrassing. She wasn't having any of my philosophical delay tactics. My mom married my dad without even seeing his face first. Village chief, if you'll have me, that's my came back from the dead. What if I die again? Then I'll marry into your family and give you an heir. Did you just plan for my death as a backup scenario? She told me something that actually shocked me. The day I went to the market, the day everything went sideways with Commissioner Liu, she'd secretly followed me. The whole way, when she saw me surrounded by thugs, she was the one who ran to find Zhao. She brought the cavalry, literally. She'd been protecting me before I even knew she existed. When I watched you fight all those men by yourself, she whispered, I knew you were the only man I'd ever marry. I pulled her close, couldn't stop myself. She fit perfectly against my chest. Her hair smelled like wildflowers and mountain air. Reader, I will spare you the details of what happened next, except to say that there was a small storage shed in the backyard with a cot, and the insects and frogs outside were very loud that evening, which was convenient. Next morning I woke up to find her curled against me like a cat. She'd clearly been awake for a while, just nuzzling, content we talked. She wanted to stay at her mother's house for now. Her mom was sick. Her twin sister still needed looking after. She asked me to register our relationship with the marriage bureau officially, and we'd have a proper wedding later when things improved. Smart girl. This also bought me time before the other village women rioted over why I picked her. Got dressed and went inside to grab breakfast for her. Walked straight into Xiao Ning's face 3 inches away. Nostrils flaring like a bloodhound. Brother, where were you last night? And why do you smell like a woman? Before I could even open my mouth, Mom appeared from nowhere, grabbed Xiao Ning by the ear, and dragged her away like removing a faulty alarm system. Then Mom turned to me with the biggest smile I'd ever seen on her face. Bigger than when the mayor brought grain. Bigger than when she saw the ox cart. She was beaming. Go feed your girl, don't make her do all the work. Xiao Yu was already standing there holding a tray. White rice, braised meat, the works. Here, big brother, for your guest. She was smirking, everyone was smirking. 3 and 4 grabbed my sleeves. Big brother, do we have a sister-in-law now? Mom was practically dancing. Go, and when you've sorted things out, bring her to meet me properly. But if this is just a fling, don't bother. I don't need the embarrassment. Xiao Yu, Emol, big brother would never do something like that. Xiao Ning still being dragged by her ear. Big brother, you've been tricked. She's not a good person, you're under a spell. Mom produced a stick from thin air and applied it rapidly to Xiao Ning's backside. Standard operating procedure. I escaped the chaos and brought breakfast to Jie. She'd already gotten dressed and was tidying up the shed. My tools. Making the bed. Walking with a slight limp. Looking very determined to be useful, despite obvious discomfort. Stop cleaning, Xiao Ning will handle it. I'm part of the Yi family now, I need to pull my weight. I held her face and gave her a soft kiss on the cheek. That's sweet. But for now, eat your breakfast and go home before the entire village finds out and I have to deal with 200 jealous women filing formal complaints. She buried her crimson face in my chest. Days 3 of new life. I've gone from dead village chief to businessman, bounty hunter, weapons manufacturer, military consultant. Now a man with a woman who followed me into danger brought me reinforcements. Watch me from behind walls for hours. Shows me over literally any other option in her life. Not bad for a guy who used to be a security guard mooching off his girlfriend. Though I do have one concern. Xiaoning's nose is apparently a weapons-grade detection system. If she can smell one woman on me from across a room, what happens when there are 36 wives and 72 concubines? I'm going to need a lot of soap. I walked Jiayi home after breakfast. She pushed me out at the door. Said she needed to explain things to her mom first before I could formally visit. Fair enough. Even in a dynasty with relaxed customs there are protocol. Walking back through the village was like navigating a minefield of emotions. Every woman I passed had one of two expressions: heartbroken devastation or volcanic fury. Word had spread overnight. The village's only man was officially off the market, or at least one slot was filled, and the Wang family had won the first round. Several women had dressed up in their finest outfits, stuck flowers in their hair and were attempting to intercept me like glamorous roadblocks. Village chief, good morning. You look so handsome today. Go home, Andy, you're 40. A flower in your hair doesn't rewind the clock. I respect the effort, but come on. I shook off the desperate admirers and headed to Su Qin's beggar village for fresh intelligence. Today was a work day. Money now. What a day it was. 3 more bandits caught. My tracking skills from 2 lifetimes combined are basically a cheat code. Military scout training plus security tips equals human GPS for criminals. I dropped off the bounty heads at the garrison, collected my payment, and started riding home. During my mental review of the day, something nagged at me. There'd been a man in the mountains. Not someone I'd noticed briefly while capturing a murderer. His beard didn't match his age or hair color. Disguise, his arms were unusually thick. His footsteps too steady, too controlled. This wasn't a common thief. I'd let him slip through because I was busy. Mistake. In this line of work, the one you ignore is the one who puts a knife in your back later. Mental note filed. Stay sharp, the easy catches won't last forever. On the ride back I noticed something concerning. Other people were now walking around, holding government-wanted posters, squinting at every bush and rock formation. The news about my bounty hunting success had leaked. Everyone wanted a piece. This was the problem with making money publicly. Desperate, starving people see you succeed and think, I can do that too. Except they can't. I have military training, internal energy, magic shotgun, 2 lifetimes of experience reading human behavior. These guys have farming tools and enthusiasm. Reached the beggar village and tossed Suk in his cot. Nearly you dropped it. How heavy is this? How many did you catch today? 3. At this rate you'll make Songju bandit free by autumn. He also warned me to be careful about retaliation. Smart man. He'd already thought of that. Every target he'd picked for me was specifically chosen. People with no gang connections, no families. Lone wolves who nobody would come looking for. Not sending my best friend into a trap, he said. I feel guilty enough that I didn't attend your funeral. I wasn't dead. Details. A crowd of farmers from nearby villages gathered around, watched Suk-san weigh my money pouch. Their eyes turned into dollar signs. Village Chief Yi, how do you find them? We spend all day in a swamp and got nothing except mosquito bites. I figure I should help them. Not out of pure generosity, they were my buffer. If more people hunted bandits, the dangerous ones would be flushed out where I could spot them. Plus, if these guys failed and someone got hurt, they'd blame Sukan. Better to give them basic instruction. Use your brains, I said. The wanted can't enter city. Posters are everywhere. He can't stay in villages. The village chief would notice a stranger. So where does he go? Mountains. And in mountains he needs water and food. Find the water sources. Look for signs of cooking, human waste, disturbed ground. That's where your bandit is. Their faces lit up like I'd revealed the secret of the universe. Thank you, Village Chief Yi. We'll share our catches with you. They were vibrating with excitement, already imagining the silver. I watched them buzzing around like excited puppies and felt a cold weight in my stomach. These people had no idea what they were walking into. Listen to me carefully, I said, dropping my voice. Any bandit who can survive alone in the mountains is not a normal person. They're killers, they're fighters. They're desperate. If you don't have real combat skills, don't play hero. You'll end up dead and your family will blame Sukan for giving you bad information. We won't go alone. We'll take 30 guys, 100 even. They weren't listening. They saw the money and the fear disappeared. Classic gold rush mentality. The same thing that gets people killed in every century. I sighed and rode off. Sukan gave me a look that said, I know. I'll keep an eye on them. But we both knew, you can lead fools to wisdom, but you can't make them think. Not some of these guys were going to get hurt, maybe killed. And there was nothing I could do, except catch the dangerous ones before they did. Good deeds at sequences. The eternal math of trying to help people who helped themselves straight into a ditch. At least I had a woman waiting for me at home. Well, sort of. She was at her home, but she was mine now. And somewhere in my village, 15 widows were holding an emergency meeting about updated surveillance protocols. I tried to warn them, I really did. Government officers go after these bandits with dozens of trained men and still fail. What makes you think you'll do better? They looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. That's because the officers are lazy. They don't try. We're hungry, we'll fight to the death. Village Chief Yi. You're not worried we'll steal your business, are you? Don't worry. Any bandits that Sukan's team gives you we won't touch. I wanted to grab each of them by the shoulders and shake sense into their skulls. But there's an old saying. You can't save a ghost who's determined to die. Suzukan waved them off with a casual warning. Fine. Take the int. But if you get yourselves killed, that's on you, not my beggars. Then he pulled me aside and muttered, why are you wasting breath on them? You know who signs up for bandit hunting? The village troublemakers, the lazy drunks, the guys who cause more problems than they solve. If they catch someone, great. Their whole village benefits. If they die, well, their village has fewer problems. I stared at this man, this scholar, this reader of books. You intellectuals are ice cold. I'm not cold, I'm efficient. As if on. The neighboring village chief walked over, bowed to Sukan, thanked him for the intelligence, marched off with his mob of amateur bounty hunters. Sukan shrugged, see, they love me. He tried to get me to stay for dinner. Offered me dog parts for stamina. I am a healthy young man, I don't need your weird animal juice. He grinned and pointed at my arm. When you joined the army you had a muscle line right here. It's gone now, don't think I didn't notice. So when's the wedding? I want an invitation. Just send the gift money. You don't need to show up. Oh, I'm showing up, I'm bringing the entire village. 300 beggars performing traditional singing at your wedding ceremony. Picture that, I pictured it. 300 unwashed men serenading my bride with folk songs. I wanted to vomit and laugh simultaneously. You're insane, I'm leaving. Be careful out there. When I got back to the village, Jia Yi was sitting on a rock at the entrance, waiting for me like a puppy whose owner went to the store. You took so long, she grabbed my sleeve and bounced on her toes. Something had changed in her. Yesterday, she was shy, nervous, always looking at the ground. Today she was glowing, playful, alive, like someone had turned on a light inside her. Pulled out a bolt of flower-patterned fabric from my sleeve. Got you something. Have your mom make you a new skirt. Your current one looks like it survived a war. She clutched it to her chest, beautiful. Talk to your mom, yes. She says she needs a few days to prepare things before you can formally visit. A few days? What if I change my mind? Her face went from sunshine to thunderstorm in half a second. You cannot change your mind, I'm already your woman. You relax, I'm kidding. She punched my arm, then hugged it, then blushed. The emotional range on this girl could power a small city. After dropping off rice and flour at her family's alley, I rode home. Another evening feast, this time whole chicken soup. I bought some old hens, hoping Mom could keep them for eggs. Mom examined the chickens with the precision of a poultry surgeon. One squeeze of the rear end too old. Won't lay eggs, dead, plucked. The pot. 3 minutes flat. My mother is ruthlessly efficient with disappointing livestock. The soup was incredible though. 3 and 4 had grease from ear to ear. Naoshui scolded them about table manners. The little ones checked Mom's face for danger. Also she wasn't paying attention and continued eating like tiny oil-powered machines. Then I noticed something was off. The table was too quiet. Specifically Xiaoning was quiet. No bickering. No stealing food. Just eating silently. I looked at her. She glared back. What are you looking at? I'm not as pretty as your Wang girl, am I? Oh no, Soe? Did I ask the Wang sister? When did you spy on them? Xiaoning's eyes went wide with indignation. I didn't spy. She was walking around the village today, all limping with her face all red. And it's obvious what happened. I shoved a chicken leg into her bowl. Eat, be quiet, your observational skills are unwanted. She slammed her chopsticks down. You know what, my eyes work fine. Unlike some people who have their sister standing right there and can't even see her, because they're too busy hugging their girlfriend. I came to meet you today, and you didn't even notice me. You just stood there cuddling, I blinked. She'd come to welcome me home and I'd walked right past her with my arm around Gi. Before I could apologize, she turned to Mom. He forgot about you too. He used to say hello to you first thing. Today he just sat in the yard grinning like an idiot. Mom slapped the table. I'm happy he's grinning. He's giving the Yi family an heir. He could bury me alive and I'd die smiling. Unlike some daughters who can't even find a husband. Xiaoning grabbed a handful of chicken bones and launched herself over the wall to feed her cat. Exit stage up. After dinner Mom got serious. Son, bounty hunting won't last forever. The bandits will run out. You need a real business. I know, Mom. I'm thinking about rice trading. Wait, back up. What did you say earlier about something feeling wrong today? I told her about the disguised man in the mountains. The one who didn't fit. Mom's face tightened. Then she dropped the bomb. Wang Lao Wu's wife told me their village heard about your bounty hunting success. They organized their own hunting party. Lao Wu went with them. My blood went cold. Lao Wu? He's supposed to be collecting crab. Mom sighed. He couldn't refuse too much social pressure. Plus he wants money to pay for his father's medicine. My loyal, gentle, terrified of soldiers Lao Wu. The man who faints when he sees uniforms, out in the mountains hunting killers. Next day I kept one eye on Jia Yi's house. Neither Lao Wu nor his wife showed up. He always checked in even if there were no crabs to deliver. Always without fail. One missed day could mean anything. 2 missed days means trouble. Something was wrong, I could feel it. That marshmallow was out there somewhere. Probably holding a stick. Facing a murderer. With his wife at home wondering if her husband was coming back alive. I should have tried harder to stop them. No, should have been louder. Should have been meaner about it. But, you can't save people from their own courage. Even when their courage is going to get them killed. Wang Lao had not shown up. Not today. That man was more reliable than sunrise. He wasn't delivering crabs, something was wrong. I strapped on my gear. Straw hat, warrior outfit, shotgun on my back, ring pommel sword on the saddle, full combat loadout. Climbed on the horse and rode straight for Su Ken's village. Along the road I could feel the hostility. People from other villages watched me ride past whispering. Not the admiring kind of whisper, the jealous kind. Look at him rushing off to hog all the bounties again. He told us not to hunt bandits, then goes out himself? Hypocrite. Back in the army they were all scheming little rats. He just wants his widow village to have everything. Our village has real men, dozens of them. Why should one man from widow village get all the money? Let's gather everyone. If he tries to stop us again, we'll deal with him. These ungrateful, I literally taught them how to find bandits, gave them free advice, warned them about the dangers. And now they think I'm their enemy, because I'm better at the job than they are. But that's human nature, isn't it? You help someone. And the first thing they calculate is whether you help them enough. Whether you're keeping the good stuff for yourself. Whether your generosity is actually greed in disguise. Lu Xun was right. Assume the worst about people and you'll still be surprised by how much worse they actually are. I found Su Ken's village mid-celebration. The beggars were throwing a feast with the food I'd brought them. Old men sipping cheap wine, kids gnawing bones. Senior beggars giving lectures on advanced begging strategy and dogfighting stick techniques. Apparently some rich households release attack dogs on beggars. So these guys have developed an entire martial art around hitting dogs with sticks, while maintaining a sympathetic facial expression. It's horrifying and impressive simultaneously. Su Ken was watching his people with a worried look, already planning ahead. Where did Wang family village go hunting, I asked. Xianan Mountain. Their chief was cheap. Bought the lowest grade intel. I barely know what's up there. Might be bandits, might be deer, might be nothing. Lao Wu went with them. Su Ken's face tightened. He knew what Lao Wu meant to me. Want me to send people with you? No. Give me the intel. If I can save him, I will. If I can't, then it wasn't meant to be. Yusuke shook his head admiringly. That's why you survived the battlefield, that mindset. Before I left I couldn't help myself. Su Ken, you made a mistake. You sold intelligence to too many people too publicly. And now you're throwing a party about it. Every bandit in the region will know your village is the snitch factory. He sighed. No, but once one person saw the profit, word spread to 100. I was trapped. Can't take it back now. I'm already planning the exit strategy. He added, going to retrain my beggars as storytellers. They've heard every scandal and secret in 3 counties. We'll turn that into entertainment. Tea house performers, actually. Not a terrible idea. These beggars were world-class actors already. Every day was a performance. The ones who can't tell stories. He gave me his most innocent scholar smile. Well, my dear friend, you do seems to be building quite an enterprise. He might need workers, spies. All I'd ask is a small salary and help finding wives for my boys. You planned this. You've been setting me up since day one. Hurry up and go save your friend. I'm worried about him. I rode for Shan Mountain through the dark. When I arrived, the forest was alive with movement. I found was wife. She and a bunch of other women, old people and children, were hiding in the brush at the mountain's edge. What are you doing here? Bandit hunting with families. We were worried. If something goes wrong, we can absorb some sword strikes so the men can escape. Human shields. They brought themselves as volunteer human shields. These people were willing to take stab wounds so their husbands could run away. This is what poverty does. Makes life so cheap that mothers offer their bodies as armor. I looked deeper into the forest and could see movement. Lao Wu was in there with a group of villagers methodically checking every bush with farming machetes. Farming tools against professional criminals. But I also noticed something else. Birds. High in the circling, not landing. That means something below is scaring them. And it's not the clumsy villagers making noise. No, something else was in that mountain. Something dangerous. Maybe multiple somethings. Go home, I told the wives. I'll handle Lao Wu. But if we leave, the village chief's son will punish us. Let him try. If he gives you trouble, come to me. I've got land, I've got food, I've got room. I pushed into the forest and found Lao Wu. The second he saw me, his face went dark. That stupid woman, I told her not to bring you. I kicked him. Okay, a little hard, you idiot. You don't tell me you're going on a suicide mission? You think you can handle this? Look at those birds, something's in there, something bad. And your people are walking toward it with garden tools. He had no choice. The clan elder ordered it. Everyone goes, I can't refuse. Clan elder can order you to die? Before he could answer, a group of men stormed over. Leading them was a scrawny teenager holding a hoe like it was Excalibur. Who the hell are you to interfere with our village? Wang Munzi, the village chief's son, got right in my face. I'm not interfering with your village. I'm collecting my employee. Wang Laowu is our strongest fighter, you can't take him. He's under contract with me, signed paperwork. He's supposed to be collecting crabs, not playing soldier. I'm taking him back to do his job. I announced that Lao Wu was returning with me to resume his work. Anyone objecting could take the complaint to the magistrate. The defiant kid only puffed out his chest.